Hey guys, it's Xander here, and we're back looking at brews in Standard. This is a deck I put together a little while ago when I was screwing around with all the stuff with Experimental Frenzy. So this is Goblin Frenzy. A lot of people have been raving about mono red goblins. I love tribal decks, and goblins are no exception. And they've actually got a surprisingly large amount of really good, cool pieces that have come out with Guilds of Ravnica and M19. So I'm just going to talk about the main board, talk about the sideboard, interactions between, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. So after the lineup, we're running a 4 of Legion Warboss, which is for 3, so 2 and a red. It's a 2/2 with Mentor. So when this creature attacks, you put a +1 counter on target attacking creature with less power. Now, it's only a 2/2, but we are running a lot of 1/1 creatures, and it itself generates 1/1s. With, at the beginning of combat on your turn, you create a 1/1 Goblin creature token with haste. Creature attacks this turn if able. So generating tokens is always going to be a good thing for us because of our game plan and our win plan, which I'll touch on in a second, but he's definitely one of the key pieces for helping this deck out. Because we're running goblins and we're in Standard, got to be running a 4 of Goblin Chainwhirler. This card is insanely good. It's a lot of people crying for it to be banned or whatever. I don't care. It's just great. So for 3 red, it's a 3/3 Goblin Warrior with First Strike. When it enters the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to each opponent and each creature and planeswalker they control. On the higher end of the curve, so at a 5 cost, we're running a 3 of Siege Gang Commander, which is for 5, so 3 and 2 red. It's only a 2/2, but it's a goblin with, whenever it enters the battlefield, you get 3 1/1 red goblin creature tokens. So this is for 5, you get 4 creatures, but it's also got the added ability tacked on to pay 2, so 1 and a red. Sacrifice the goblin, Siege Gang deals 2 damage to any target. To really put this deck into the next level, we're also running a 3 of Experimental Frenzy, which is for 4, 3 and a red. It's an enchantment that sits on the battlefield, and you may look at the top card of your library at any time. You may play the top card of your library. You can't play cards from your hand, and for 4, 3 and a red, you destroy Experimental Frenzy. This very easily turns into a win con for the deck, and we've got a couple of ways to filter off the top so that we can just keep going and won't be stopped by land. Stay on the aggressive plan and also make our goblins a little cheaper to be able to play through Experimental. We're also running a 3 of Goblin Warchief, which is for 3, so 1 and 2 red. It's a 2/2 Goblin Warrior. With goblin spells you cast cost 1 less to cast, and goblins you control have haste. Running a 4 of Fanatical Firebrand, which is for 1 red, a 1/1 Goblin Pirate with haste, but it's also got tap, sacrifice it to deal 1 damage to target creature or player. One of the big key pieces of this deck, and the thing that allows us to just ramp out of control and keep going with Experimental, is Skirk Prospector. So this is for 1 red, it's a 1/1 goblin with sacrifice the goblin, add 1 red to your mana pool. So this turns all of our goblins into mana, and we turn all of that mana into damage. And that's how the deck wins. So a lot of the times, Experimental, if we're hitting goblins, we can just keep playing goblins. Once we run out of mana with our lands, we can keep sacking goblins to play more goblins and keep doing that until we hit our win cons or our big hitting goblins, get them onto the board and just keep going. Insanely good. Skirk is what makes this deck work. It paired with Experimental Frenzy just makes this deck insanely good value. Because we're running Skirk and Experimental Frenzy, we want to be running a number of 1-drops. We're also getting a 2-for-1 in the form of Goblin Instigator, which is for 2, so 1 and a red. It's a 1/1 Goblin Rogue with, when it enters the battlefield, you get a 1/1 red Goblin creature token. So if we've got a Goblin Warchief out, this is for 1 red, get 2 1/1s, which makes our Skirk Prospector Experimental Frenzy engine added value. It's just good. We're also running a 4 of Treasure Map to help get the lands off the top of the deck when we have Experimental Frenzy out. So Treasure Map is for 2, it's an artifact that sits on the battlefield, and it's 1 tap, scry 1, you put a landmark counter on it. When it's got 3 counters on it, you can flip it, and then you get 3 treasure tokens, which are added ramp as well. So when we flip it, it also turns into a land that has tap add 1 or tap sacrifices treasure to draw a card. So even if it isn't a treasure map that's scrying the top card off, we can hold the treasures up and then tap sack a treasure to draw the land off the deck. It's always going to be added value to the deck, and it's just a sensationally good card for what we're trying to do with it. The last key finisher that is in the deck is a 2 of Fight with Fire, which is for 3, so 2 and a red. At sorcery speed, it's got Kicker 6, so for 5 and a red. You may pay this as an additional cost to play the spell, which means you can pay for 9. Fight with Fire deals 5 damage to a creature, or if it was kicked, it deals 10 damage as you choose, divided among any number of targets instead. Looking at the land base, we're running 21 mountains, and that is it. Touching on the sideboard here, we're running a 4 of Lava Coil, which is for 2, so 1 and a red. At sorcery speed, you deal 4 damage to target creature. If that creature would die this turn, exile it instead. This answers all the big dumb flying stuff that's in standard at the moment, your Rekindling Phoenixes and all that kind of stuff. So it's something that's fairly necessary to anyone's sideboard. If they haven't got it running in the main board, you need to be able to answer these creatures. So definitely want to be running this in a 4 of. We're also running a 3 of Lightning Strike for when we do need that added damage or removal. So Lightning Strike is for 2, it's 1 and a red. At instant speed, you deal 3 damage to target creature or player. A 2 of Banefire for the control matchups. This is another mana sink that we can just throw all of our goblins into the Skirk grinder and then come out the other end dealing damage. So Banefire is for X and 1. At sorcery speed, you deal X damage to any target, and if X is 5 or more, the spell can't be countered and the damage can't be prevented. So in a control matchup, throw these in there along with the Fight with Fires and just go to face. If they're running any decent amount of artifacts or any kind of useful artifacts, throwing in a couple of Goblin Trashmasters is always going to be good. Goblin Trashmaster is for 4, it's 2 and 2 red. It's a 3/3 Goblin Warrior. With other goblins you control get +1/+1. And it's also got Sacrifice a Goblin, destroy target artifact. So this can just answer a lot of the useful artifacts that are in standard. A 2 of Cosmotronic Wave, which is for 4, 3 and a red. At sorcery speed, it deals 1 damage to each creature your opponent controls, and then creatures your opponent's control can't block this turn. This allows us to just build a huge ball with Frenzy, give them all haste with the War Chief, and then just play the wave, swing in for free. It's just a game-winning card. It's not something we want to run in the main board because they'll probably get answers for it in game 2, but if we surprise them on game 2 with this and we've already won in game 1, it can win us the game. And to finish off the list, we're running a 2 of Sorcerer's Spyglass in the sideboard here, which is for 2, it's an artifact sits on the battlefield, and then as it enters the battlefield, you look at target opponent's hand and choose any card name. Activated abilities of the sources of the chosen name can't be activated unless they're mana abilities. That has been Mono Red Goblin Frenzy for standard. That is another deck tech video by me. If you haven't done already, like, share, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications to see new content when it comes out. I'll hopefully be doing some more gameplay in the near future, and so look forward to seeing that. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Keep questing, guys.